want to show you a clip and I want you to tell me if it reminds you of anything. Take a look at this.
We're going to spend hundreds of millions of dollars advertising how bad drugs are so that kids don't use them, that they chew up your brain, they destroy your teeth, your skin, your everything.
That's a good idea because kids don't know that. They've never heard that the drugs are bad. They've never heard that this is your brain on drugs. We should definitely throw hundreds of millions of dollars into that. What could possibly go wrong, or more likely not change at all except for the wasted money? Look, I had to go to DARE assemblies back when I was a kid. I mentioned on the show earlier, I won an essay contest about DARE. It's a massive waste of money. And so I think a lot of people, that'll be their first reaction is, dude, why are you gonna waste hundreds of millions of dollars? Do you know how many USAID trans comic books we could fund with that? Again, just to sarcastically point out that they talk about waste and fraud and abuse, and then they're just gonna do it again. But more importantly, this isn't just a waste of money, okay? Where do you think this money's gonna go? Who do you think is gonna have the contracts to make these stupid anti-drug ads? Christians, definitely. Where are they gonna run these ads? You don't think that there's a chance they're gonna put $100 million worth of ads in ad spending into Twitter to place these?
Yeah, right next to DraftKings and make your sex last longer. Goodness,
those are good things. After you waste all of your family's money on DraftKings or whatever, you're definitely gonna want to go all night. But anyway, yeah. So it's not only a waste of money. This is almost certainly gonna end up being a corrupt waste of money. And before you comment, I just want to remind everyone: drugs are bad. Okay, you can't get ahead with drugs, except for this guy who's done pretty well for himself.
And I was at the bottom of my class. I started doing heroin. I went to the top of my class. Suddenly I could sit still and I could read.
It sounds like you had undiagnosed ADHD, you dumbass. You did heroin for your ADHD. Now you want to rip ADHD meds away from kids so they can't focus in class. You're gonna get, no, but literally, John, this is the point I was making on Piers Morgan, and I need to make it again here because we need to understand that might be a joke. Oh, I did heroin, but that is exactly what's going to happen because it's not only that that Donald Trump wants to have commercials promoting, saying, just say no to drugs, They also want to make it much harder to get access to psychiatric meds, right?
Yep.
Like ADHD meds, like Adderall, things that actually Donald Trump loves himself, but of course he'll have his own supply. And when you rescind people's access to meds that they were already on, whether it's painkillers, whether it's psychiatric meds, whether it's antidepressants, often their answer is to go to the streets to get street drugs because you can 100%. Always get street drugs, right? And or you're gonna have a whole new market of a black market, talk about the cartels that are gonna make money in dealing things like Adderall or antidepressants on the black market, making it incredibly unsafe. So it's very funny that he's like, oh, heroin, when he probably should have been on Adderall. But it's like, no, but actually people might start and kids might start seeking street drugs in order if they cannot get access to their prescribed medication.
Yeah, no, 100%. I 100% agree. He's in charge of our healthcare. It's insane. I love that like Donald Trump is like, oh, you know who I'm putting in charge of all this? The dude who is reminiscing fondly about his heroin days. Oh, also, drug dealers should be murdered by the state. We should murder all the people who gave RFK Jr. his hits over the years. Absolute mess. But you're totally right about what effect this is gonna have. And similar with the bans on abortions and all that.
Yep.
They're not necessarily stopping the behavior. They're just making it easier to get the richer you are and more dangerous and outside of the bounds of the legal system if you're a regular person. Thanks for watching our video. Did you know that you can support our show by becoming a subscriber? Just click the subscribe button and also ring the bell so that you get notifications when we're live or when we post new content.